it's Renee Fouché here. Hey guys! All right, hey guys, this is Renee Fouché here, and I really wanted to just shoot this quick video. Sorry, I apologize, my crazy hair, because I wasn't really planning on shooting a video. I've been sitting here, and I've actually been having a conversation with one of the awesome young people that are in my life. You know, I have my own two kids, but then I have extended family of kids that I still consider very close to my heart. And I try to make sure that I am there to be able to speak to them about different things. You know, not everything that you speak to your children about will come across the same way as somebody else coming and speaking to them, right? I don't know if any of you parents out there have ever experienced it. Like I've told my daughter something, and then 15, 20 minutes later, someone else comes and tells her the same exact thing, and she acts like it's this big revelation. Oh my gosh. I never thought of that. Mom, what a fascinating idea. And I'm like, really? You mean like what I was just telling you? No? Oh, okay. So, you know, I like to be able to speak with young people because of the fact that when we are young, for the most part, you know, that's our foundational years. And what happens, unfortunately, when we are younger, because of the fact that the things that our family members, maybe our parents, were taught something, and they were taught that from their parents, who were taught that from their parents, essentially, they are then teaching us the same things. And some of the things, unfortunately, that our parents taught us, said to us, did to us, were not really the best things to allow us to flourish into the beings that we were truly meant to be. So what happens is that you have people that get into older ages, and now we got to go through all types of different personal development and stuff to kind of undo all of that crap that we, you know, all of the crap that got dropped on us when we were younger, we kind of have to now undo it. Right, so this is why we have people that end up in midlife crisis, and you know, people that get out of high school and they're totally confused as to what to do next. You know, because over the 12 years of mandatory compulsory education, you know, mandatory compulsory, they're the same thing. But you know, 12 years of compulsory education, and none of that time is really spent trying to dive into why you're here. What is your purpose? You know, how are you going to be able to flourish as a human being as you go through life? Essentially, those 12 years are spent trying to get you to form into one small box and hoping that everyone gets into the box. And the ones that don't get into the box, they kind of are discarded off to the side as though they had no real purpose, right? Well, let me explain to you, first of all, a little bit about a compulsory education and the fact that when it was first put into place, it was to essentially create worker bees. It was right around the industrial era when they needed people to be able to work in factories, right? So they needed to have skilled factory workers. Well, if you have someone that's working in a factory, I don't know if you've ever worked in a factory. I've never specifically worked in a factory. I've visited factories before. And then I've worked in different jobs that were somewhat of a factory setup, right? So essentially, you need to be able to come in, get trained on this specific piece of information, skill, task, whatever it is that they want you to do. And then you need to be able to sit for a predetermined amount of hours, normally about 8 to 10 hours a day, and do that mundane task over and over and over again all day. So you need to be able to follow directions, sit and be quiet, complete the work, then go home, and be able to accept only being able to do anything with life outside of those working hours. Work a specific period of time throughout the week, you get a very small window of rest, and then it's back to getting this work done, right? And so, of course, they needed to be able to shift from the way education was done prior to that, which was within the home, being able to kind of teach you the things that you needed to know to live. How to work the land that your family had, how to be able to grow any type of food, how to be able to tend to any animals, how to be able to make your own clothes, how to be able to run the house. Everybody kind of had assigned tasks to be able to run their household and be able to run the family from generation to generation. However, now that they needed people to be able to do tasks that were outside of what was going on within their families, they needed to be able to remove them from that environment so that they can structure them in this specific environment so that it could be what they want them to be. And that's why our school system is set up the way that it is. If you take a look at school, going all the way from elementary into high school, nothing is really talked about as far as your own personal development, developing yourself as a person, determining what kind of learner you are, determining where your skills are best suited. Some people are most interested, let's say, for instance, you're interested in horses. Well, if you're interested in horses, there is a way to learn reading, writing, math, science. You can learn all of the most important subjects and surround it around horses if that's what you enjoy, right? But because of the fact that we have 10, 15, 20, 30 children in a classroom, there's no possible way to determine what each of these people like and allow them to be able to learn in their own style, their own skill, right? So essentially, we get to the point where now you've completed this high school and they assume that the next logical step is you have to go to college. You must go to college. Because if you don't go to college, you're not going to have the knowledge that you need to be able to be a good worker. But then what the heck have you been doing for the last 12 years? In this whole 12 years of your life, you weren't able to figure out and give them the knowledge, the information. Most people can't even balance a checkbook. They have no idea about how credit works. They don't really understand how they can take the skills that they have and turn it into dollars, right? They don't teach people that because they don't want you to realize that your own innate skills, that you were actually born with a purpose and you were born with a talent that you were supposed to bring forth out into the world, right? But because we spend 12 years trying to be indoctrinated into somebody else's system, we kind of lose a lot of that. A lot of those dreams get crushed. They say things like, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? And then when you tell them, they say, oh, that's not reasonable. You could never do that. You need to come up with something a little bit more practical, something that makes sense. It's foolishness, okay? It's absolute foolishness. So anyway, this conversation was about joining the military. You see, this young man feels as though, and he's probably going to watch this video because I told him I needed to shoot a video. We were talking too long about this, and I'm like, you know what? I need to just shoot a video. Because if one person is having this issue, there are hundreds of people out there that are facing these issues. So what happens with these military recruiters? They go into schools or out into the community, and they try to recruit people. Of course, they have their own set of sales techniques, and they tell you about all these great benefits you're going to have. Oh, and you're going to have, we'll take care of your room and board, so now you don't got to pay any bills. And we're going to give you money to go to school after you're finished if you can get out alive. And we'll pay for this, and we'll pay for that, and we'll cover your health benefits, right? And so people that feel that they don't have any other options say, you know what, maybe that's just what I need to do. But check out how exciting their sales funnel is. They then want to test you before you can come in. So I'm going to volunteer my life to your false wars. And you want to test me before I come in? Okay? So then it makes you feel like, are you not good enough? You're not good enough to lay your life down on the line for people that are fighting for money that they're not going to give you anyway? I mean, think about this, guys. Over the history of this country, we've continued to battle and be at war with people as though it was solving something. And I have yet to hear about any wars that at the end they were like, we got a solution. Yay, it's been resolved. Nothing gets resolved. Just go over killing people. What the hell is the point of this? Can anyone tell me? You can feel free to leave a comment below and tell me. What are the wars? What are they doing? And people will say, oh, it's to protect our country and it's to protect you. Well, I don't know about that. I'm in disagreement with that. And we'll leave the rest of that for another video because I really want to stay focused on this, right? Because it's very disheartening that we implant our children in these systems, and when they come out at the end, they're more confused than when they went in. Folks are getting into thousands of dollars of debt in education, and I think education is one of the most important things in the world. But going to 4 more years of the same crap that you were going through in high school, learning theoretical information that's not applicable in real time, like you still come out and you got to get on the job training. Well, then what the hell was all of that schooling about, right? Now, there are some professions that truly require higher education as far as college and university. Outside of that, there are many ways in which to become educated on specific industries of interest to you, right? There are many, many ways to do that that are outside of the traditional college and university model. And so this video is basically kind of going out to the children that are out there, children and going into young adults, that maybe you guys feel a little confused. Maybe you're wondering, what is it that I'm supposed to do, right? And I don't want you guys to feel discouraged, because I want to explain to you that there are a lot of grown adults that go through school, get through college, and they still have the same question. What am I supposed to do? They jump in and they study stuff, then they realize that they really don't want to do that either. Why? Because nobody takes the time to explain the fact that the answers that you need are kind of right inside of here. Now, somebody might be watching this video and thinking, what does she mean right inside of here? And I'm sorry for the noise. You guys are probably hearing my my emails going out. Let me go ahead and shut that down so we can get rid of any of those distractions, okay? You know, I want you guys to realize that it's inside of here, okay? And the real reality of why you don't know it and it's right within you is that nobody's taking the time to help you learn how to quiet the outside noise, okay? We have to be able to quiet the outside noise, and it's really good to be able to do this daily, okay? And it's because you really need to think about what it is that you love to do, you're passionate about. If someone starts talking to you about this particular thing, you cannot stop talking about it. It's like your favorite thing ever, ever. Okay? And don't feel as though that's not enough. You see, and you may or may not believe in God if you're watching this video, and that's fine. You can believe in whatever it is that you want to believe, and you can make this apply the same way. But my belief is that God put us all here for a very specific purpose. A very specific purpose. We were all designed to be here for a reason. Okay? Now, the thing is that we have so much outside noise from the time we are born to the time that we can actually function on our own, that purpose gets buried under all types of stuff. And this video is going to go a little bit long. If you guys have ever watched my videos, you know that it goes long, but this is something that I think is really important that we talk about, okay? It all gets buried in so much stuff that it's hard to figure out what it is. And so we have to kind of peel those layers away. We've had experiences, and so many times our thoughts, we kind of make them dependent upon the experiences that we've already had. Things that we can see right in front of us, things that we can see, that we know of, right? But if you believe in God or universe or Buddha or whatever it is that you believe in, that's probably something or someone that you haven't physically seen. You haven't physically seen that, but you believe it, right? Now, I've never physically seen oxygen. I've never physically seen it ever. But I believe in it enough to know that I breathe. I kind of just do it automatically. I breathe in, I breathe out, and it all kind of goes on its own. I don't have to physically see it to believe that it's possible, right? And there's a lot of things that we do like that in life, right? I believe that if I turn on my stove, it's going to create heat. I believe that if I put my food over that heat, it becomes cooked. And I believe that if it's cooked, I'm able to eat it, right? So I want you guys to take a moment to step away from what you've physically seen and take a moment again to dream and use your imagination. Okay? Get a piece of paper. If you need to pause this video so you can get a piece of paper, go ahead and do that. Okay? Now, on your piece of paper, I want you to write down, what are you passionate about? What do you love to do, love to talk about? And you don't have to write one thing. If you need to brainstorm a little bit and make a list, I just want you to go ahead and do that. Okay, go ahead and make a list of the things that you love to do. You enjoy it, you're good at it, you have fun while you're doing it, and if someone talks to you about it, you can't stop talking because it's just that great. Okay, go ahead and make that list. That's number one. Okay, and number two, I want you to pause for a second and close your eyes, and I just want you to imagine your best life. Okay? Now, when you're imagining this life, I don't want you to try to figure out how it can happen. I don't want you to try to figure out or determine whether it's realistic or not. I don't want you to think about any of that. Okay? And let me explain to you why. You see, when Walt Disney was coming up with his ideas for what are now the theme parks, he had like over 300 of his ideas were rejected. They were rejected. They were like, that is not going to work. What the heck? What is this? Are you crazy? Are you on drugs? But he did not give up. Now, most of you, after the 10th one, you'd have been like, oh, forget this. This ain't working. Nobody can see it. Nobody understands. Maybe this is just dumb. That's what you might have thought, right? Starbucks had, I think it was 200 and something banks that turned them down. They were like, a shop just for coffee? Pah! We're not putting any money in that. That's so dumb. Look who's going there. Right? Now, what if after 10 tries, now this is 200 applications that they put in. So what if after 10 tries, he was like, oh, this must be dumb, right? So I don't want you to try to put logic to anything right now, okay? This is just a moment for you to dream and close your eyes and just visualize and imagine what would be your ultimate life. Okay, what does it look like? What does it smell like? What are you hearing? What are you seeing? Make sure you employ all of those senses, right? So you can really get a full picture and immerse yourself in what your dream life looks like. Okay? Now, the key here is that those passions that you wrote down at first can easily, and when I say, maybe I should say simply, okay? Because it's not all easy. As I just explained, you have to put in some work and some time and some effort, just like anything. Just like going to school, just like going to college, just like going into the military, just like working a boring-ass job. Okay, you have to put some work in. But if you're going to put some work in, why would you not focus that work where your strength is? You see, so many times we try to follow what other people are telling us to do, and it takes us away from where our personal strengths are. And so you end up on somebody else's agenda, and then you're still in the same circle. And so it's really important to get clear on your vision and really clear on what you enjoy doing, because pretty much anything can be monetized, guys. That's the easier part of it all. The easier part is monetizing whatever it is that you want to do. The harder part is quieting all the noise in your mind, quieting all the people that are around you, getting all of that to be silent so that you can look within and get all of those layers off and really get to understanding what it is that you are here for. Stop being a puppet on a string, okay? And I'm hoping that this is going to hit some folks, like, I would say from middle school up, right? Quite honestly, guys, when you see me within the next 5 to 10 years, I will have started an entrepreneurial academy, right? And I don't know that I really want to call it an entrepreneurial academy. I mean, it will be building, it'd be more like a leadership academy, okay? Because there are different areas of life in which you are already born to be a leader. But when you're trying to be a leader in an area that's not for you, that's where the problem comes up, okay? So for me, my vision, my overall vision, like if you watch my videos, you know I work with business owners, and I really want to be able to see small business owners flourish and communities grow and people be able to actually work together to create sustainable communities. However, at the end of the day, I really want to be able to create an educational program where our children are not being crushed at such an early age. I really feel as though we need to be digging into a lot of this from a very young age, right? If our kids are taught the power of meditation and visualization and utilizing their imagination from a young age instead of trying to count how many words they know, they're going to know the words. I mean, they were born on their own. They began to speak on their own. As long as you pour more value into these children, they're going to learn what is needed without testing them to death, without putting them all in a box and hoping that they're all the same, right? So unfortunately, I don't have that in place right now for the children that are in my life right now, but you guys are going to be able to witness as we grow, and hopefully many of you will be able to participate in pouring into the younger children that are going to get to actually benefit from what I want to have put together. Be able to build us all together as a community so that we can all learn to stand in our purpose. Imagine what a powerful, powerful world we could have if more people were able to stand in their own purpose for what they were put here for, right? Instead of trying to follow somebody else's agenda. So that's your assignment today. I'm going to end this video because we're going to be right under 25 minutes, it looks like. Eek. Right, and hopefully you got some value from this. I'm hoping that this was able to touch you and that you're able to start digging deeper to figure out what your purpose is, okay? And then connect with me. I would love to hear what you came up with on your list. What are your visions? What do you dream about? What is it that you want in life? What do you want? You know, don't be ashamed to talk about what you want in life. Don't listen to those people that tell you that's not possible or that's not realistic. Generally, those are not the people that have the life that you want anyway. When you have that vision of what you want in life, I want you to think about the people that are telling you it's not realistic. If they don't have what you want, respect them, appreciate them for wanting the best for you, because people do what they can with what they have. And sometimes they just haven't been taught anything different, right? So I hope that I've been able to provide some value today. Make sure and connect with me on Facebook. If you have my Facebook page, let me know what you thought of this video. Go to ReneeFoucherFanpage.com. And then there's also some books down below that I would love for you to read. One is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The Fast Lane Millionaire by, I don't know what the author's name is. Psycho-Cybernetics is another fantastic book that I think should be required learning for everyone. So I'll try to post some links down below this video. It may not be on there if you're one of the very first people to watch the video, but eventually I'll get them up. I really just kind of want to get this content out so that hopefully it's going to touch somebody. Okay? That's it. Renee, always got something to say, and it's normally pretty long, right? I'll talk to you guys soon. Make sure you post on my Facebook wall. Let me know what you thought of this video. Share your dreams. Speak your vision over and over again. Ignore the naysayers. And I look forward to seeing you make it happen. Bye, guys.